Shops and goods destroyed in Lagos community gas explosion. Senegal authorities crack down on opposition protest. Details shortly. We begin in West Africa, or west of the continent, where tragedy struck Lagos, southwest region of Nigeria late Tuesday night as a gas tanker explosion wreaked havoc along Agbado Road in the Toyin area of Ifako-Ijaye, a local government area. According to the Lagos State Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Farinloye, the explosion occurred when the tanker collided with an electric pole, triggering a spark. He noted that emergency services, including the Lagos State Fire Services and NEMA, responded swiftly and worked together to bring the situation under control. Farinloye added that no lives were lost in the incident, but several shops bore the brunt of the explosion. The aftermath of the explosion serves as a stark reminder of the need for heightened safety measures, particularly in handling hazardous materials. Now, away from that, the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday deliberated extensively with key ministers and service chiefs to address the nation's alarming security concerns in a marathon closed-door session lasting over 10 hours. After thorough discussions, the Senate emerged with a significant decision as the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, announced the passage of a vote of confidence in the service chiefs for their efforts in combating crime and maintaining security across the country. Now, speaking with journalists, Senate spokesperson Senator Yemi Adaramodu maintained that the Senate is impressed by the determination and proactive measures demonstrated by the service chiefs in recent times. Among those in attendance were key ministers and top security officials, including the Minister of Defense Muhammad Badaru Abubakar and Chief of Defense Staff Christopher Musa. Also present were the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu and the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, among others.
Also commended or commends the security chiefs for their efforts so far, and particularly our men and women in uniform and the leaders of various communities who, even in the face of difficulties, pay supreme sacrifice in order to ensure that they keep their various communities safe. For the security chiefs, we assure you of the continued support of not just this Senate, but of the National Assembly. And today, we have not only passed a vote of confidence in you, but we have also expressed to you our readiness to go hand in hand with you in all you do. Leader of the Senate. Yeah.
We listened to them. They told us so many other issues. We related with them about our experiences and the experiences of our constituents, what they have been facing, samples of what had happened, the horrendous situations that Nigerians were, the parlous situations that Nigerians were. So examples of what happened even in Abuja here. So under the service chiefs, they even allayed our fears. They even satisfactorily answered our questions. And they told us plans they had, which is underway, that is going to nip everything in the bud.
In the meantime, explosive revelations emerged on Tuesday as former Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, testified about a staggering $6.2 million transaction involving the Central Bank of Nigeria. Mustafa, appearing as the fourth prosecution witness in the ongoing trial of former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, made shocking allegations before the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama, Abuja. He revealed that in February 2023, $6.2 million was released from the central bank using a forged document purportedly authorized by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. He noted that neither of the documents came from the president or his office, as the terms used in the alleged correspondence do not align with standard government procedures. Mustafa emphasized that during his tenure as SGF, he never encountered such documents and refuted any involvement in the transaction. Workers from Nigeria's Trade Union Congress have given the nation's Food and Drug Administration agency a 2-week ultimatum to reverse the ban on sales of alcoholic drinks and spirits in sachets and PET bottles. Now, this was as they took to the streets in Abuja, urging the agency to reverse a ban which they say has left thousands of citizens jobless, increasing the hardship being faced in the country. Amadin Uyi reports.
The protesters had converged on the headquarters of Nigeria's Food and Drug Regulation Agency, widely known as NAFDAC. Many of them converged a few meters away from the facility in protest over the recent decision by the agency, which had placed a ban on the sale of alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles, claiming it is being exposed to minors.
We are here for them to revert that. They should follow queue. As cigarette smokers, they put the advert there. If they close the chassis production, TUC is losing over 500,000 workers across the country.
Yes. We are here not because we want to stage a fight with NAFDAC, but to tell them that the decision that was recently taken by banning the sachet and PET bottle alcoholic beverages is what we are kicking against.
They urged officials to withdraw the ban or face the consequences from workers.
All workers in Nigeria have over 10,000 dependents, if you calculate it very well. And when they are out of job, that means over 10,000 people around them or their society or community will also go hungry or go begging.
That singular policy has now thrown hundreds of thousands of Nigerians out of job. And like it used to say, if we are not able to create jobs, why are we taking the few ones that are available? We are saying no to this.
They urged officials to withdraw the ban, else face the consequences.
We are saying, please save our jobs. Thousands are out of job as I'm talking to you, and we have been crying all this while that the Director General should rescind in her decision.
We also wish to warn that this is a peaceful protest. If nothing is done within a reasonable time, we will go back to the drawing board, we will mobilize, and we will come back. But this time around, we will ensure that all offices of NAFDAC nationwide do not work. Because you can't take food out of my table and expect that I will allow you to continue to work.
Everybody know the economic situation. They better withdraw that bill from National Assembly. If not, we will not agree. And that's why we are here. I want to tell the Director General of NAFDAC to kindly do herself a favor to withdraw that bill from forever.
The protest then continued to the National Assembly, where the protesting workers submitted a letter to the leaders of Parliament. Officials that received them both from NAFDAC and the Parliament assured that their grievances will be looked into.
I have noted your grievances. The Director General is not around now. She's on official assignment, but I assure you, according to laid down rules, I'm going to take the protest letter, which I will pass on to her.
I would want to encourage you, embrace dialogue, which the House is always happy to facilitate. Embrace dialogue towards finding a resolution that is in the best interest of Nigerians.
In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Thank you, Amadin, for that report. Now, in the meantime, the Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria have issued a firm ultimatum threatening to withdraw their services if the federal government fails to uphold agreements made back in 2020. The association demands immediate implementation of promised financial support palliatives for bakers, especially those hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement read by the Kogi State Chairman of the association, Chief Gabriel Adeniyi, the AMCON president Alhaji Mansur Umar, disclosed that the numerous increase in the prices of baking materials, subsidy removal, and forex deregulation have pushed their members to the brink. He noted that multiple taxations at various government levels and the lack of support for local production also worsens their plight. Now, among their demands, the association calls for the liberalization of flour and sugar importation, reduction of import duties on major baking materials, and provision of concessionary forex exchange to stakeholders. Nigeria's economic growth has worsened in the past few years, leaving many Nigerians worried as they cope with the challenging times. Civil society organizations in Nigeria, at a press conference in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, said the severe economic challenges has called for concrete efforts to fathom what needs to be done to mitigate the challenging times. News Central's Omolola Ololade has more.
Stalled per capita growth, poverty and high food insecurity have exacerbated the ongoing cost of living crisis in Nigeria, according to the International Monetary Fund. The present economic difficulties is becoming increasingly worrisome for many Nigerians as they struggle with its challenges. It is on this premise that civil society organizations such as the Youth Bureau Coalition of Civil Society and socio-economic stakeholders created an opportunity for government and the people to dialogue in order to help mitigate the effect of the present socio-economic realities of the people.
A lot of data were collected here today to further what they have been doing in terms of civic engagement and educating the people. That's a good one. And that is the focus of this exercise.
It is undoubtedly known that the state plays a vital role in the economic emancipation of the country. Hence, the decision by the Lagos state government to help ease some of these economic difficulties faced by the people.
We are aware that everywhere there is hunger, everywhere there is need to take care of Lagosians.
We are going to use civil society organizations, we are going to use community development associations, religious organizations, ethnic group associations, people living with a disability. We are going to use all of them so that we know that they are the people who know the ones who cannot feed themselves among them.
Present at the dialogue meeting were stakeholders from different strata of the economy who narrated their ordeal during this hard time as they call on the government to help provide solutions to their yearnings.
You know, when you look at everything that is happening in the country, the physically challenged are the casualty of it. What do I mean? When you talk about feeding, when you talk about housing, employment, all sorts.
And even those that are having access to their direct customers, you find that before they get to their various places, taxes, tolls, and all of it, not even tolls, people, illegal collections from people that say they are disguising they are working for government, they are there exploiting them.
At the heart of this conversation is a call on the government at all levels to intervene in the immediate yearnings of the people, especially in the area of food supply and transportation. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
You're still watching News Central Now. News Central Now returns after the break. The 2023 Bayelsa State governorship election defeated the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Timiprie Silva, to emerge winner of the election.
We started with the prayer on Sunday, handing over the entire ceremony to God because, of course, for us to have won that election, we relied solely on God, and God did not disappoint. So we started by handing over the ceremony to God on Sunday. Then yesterday it was not part of the normal ceremony. We had to go to the Sampo to honor the governor's father who passed on exactly 1 year ago yesterday. Then today we have ceremonies already lined up, like I did mention, commissioning of the outer ring road and also unveiling of a special book, The Man of Peace and Leadership, a book to honor the governor of Bayelsa State. And tomorrow is the D-Day, Valentine's Day, and the swearing in of our brand new, humble, well-prepared, intelligent, ready to work governor of Bayelsa State and his deputy, Governor Doidiri and Senator Lawrence Urujakba.
It's really cool. Really, really good. Seeing the designs, well made, well set. The stage, as you can see, they are yet to finish the stage. But I believe before tomorrow, everything will be done. And we're expecting the wonderful, amiable, reliable governor to be inaugurated as a governor, coming for a second term.
Now, in politics, the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees has made significant announcements confirming key appointments and urging action on pressing national issues. Former President of the Senate, Adolphus Wabara, has been officially confirmed as a substantive chairman of the parties, succeeding Walid Jibrin. Now, the decision was reached at the 76th Board of Trustees meeting held in Abuja. Speaking after the meeting, Wabara highlighted the concerns raised by the board regarding the country's economic challenges and escalating insecurity. The board called upon President Bola Tinubu to urgently address these critical issues, including the falling value of the naira and the surge in fuel prices. Meanwhile, the board also demanded the resignation of Senator Samuel Anyanwu from his position as the party's national secretary, citing constitutional provisions prohibiting dual roles for candidates. Nigerians have been urged to begin to embrace ideas of smaller family size to avoid the high rate of poverty, youth unemployment, and out-of-school children, amongst other socioeconomic upheavals currently witnessed in the country. Now, this was during a population conversation seminar in the nation's capital, Abuja, as some stakeholders expressed concern over Nigeria's population explosion, saying that the government is not doing enough to leverage its population size for development and also to address the challenges that this has brought to the nation. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, reports.
While population growth affects every aspect of societal development, the conversation around population growth in recent years have regrettably not gained the needed attention in Nigeria, especially as the nation's population is projected to double, reaching about 400 million persons by 2050. Some stakeholders say Nigeria has not effectively harnessed potential available through its current population size, due to a lack of information on the benefits a large population can have on citizens and national policies.
If you have this kind of population, it's supposed to be a blessing, because it means that you even have market from the economic side of it. You have market, and there's no reason for poverty. There should be reason for prosperity. There should be reason for actually growth and development at all levels. But when the number has been, put in an unproductive manner, the politicians are only interested to engage our productive young agile youth for political violence.
While expressing worry that the nation's population has become a source of concern, they say the failure to plan effectively is taking a toll on Nigeria, thus the current hardship being faced by citizens. They are also calling on the public to help manage the nation's population growth by adopting smaller family sizes.
The poverty is everywhere. The infrastructure in the country is down. So there's no anybody that can come and tell you that, no, don't worry, go and have plenty wives that we cannot feed, plenty wives that we cannot take care of their health, plenty wives that we cannot provide the children with education.
I would like our first policy that was anchored, that was led by late Professor Ransom Kuti. It was stated in that policy that we should not have more than 4 children, and I still stand by it. But unfortunately, people rejected it. We, Nigerians, rejected that policy.
This really affects the women population. That is why I'm encouraging us to bring this discussion before our leaders, traditional, our religious leaders, and let them see the need to help the girl child.
Some of them expressed concerns about the high rate of out-of-school children in the country. They say these children become ready tools for miscreants, thus the need for government to provide the much-needed access to education. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The Abia State University Visitation Panel has been inaugurated to evaluate the financial management of the institution between 2019 to 2023. Governor Alex Otti inaugurated the panel at the banquet hall of the Government House, Onuoha. News Central's Chinwe Ugele reports.
In December 2020, the then Governor Okezie Ikpeazu set up a visitation panel for the state-owned university to investigate its activities from 2010 to 2020, and by April of 2023, the report of that panel was submitted to the governor, who never acted on it. Now, the current governor, Alex Otti, wants to investigate the university between 2019 to 2023 without recourse to the outstanding report he inherited. The governor, during the inauguration, read out the terms of reference, which included investigating the subventions received from the state government from 2019 to 2023 and the overall management of funds that accrued to the university for the same period. He tasked the panel to conduct a thorough assessment of the institution's academic programs to ensure they meet global standards.
Is expected to meticulously study the frameworks and systems that guide and regulate the administrative processes, academic programs, and financial management within APSU, with a view to determining how they stack up against globally acceptable standards and conventions in the effective management of university systems, and identifying what can be done to drive holistic improvements in the relevant areas.
In his response on behalf of the panel, the chairman, Professor Steve Okorodudu, said Governor Alex Otti has, through allocation of 20% of the 2024 budget to the education sector, come close to UNICEF's budgetary recommendation for education and called on the management and staff of the university to cooperate with the panel by volunteering relevant information to enable them do justice to the mandate given to them.
A lot of misconception about what a visitation panel means. And for those who understand it quite well, it is an opportunity for you to grow as an institution. And there is no way we are going to grow if we are not in a position to know exactly what the issues are.
In pursuant to abiding by Section 30, subsection 2 of the Abia State University law, the governor is to set up a visitation panel after every decade for the review of the institution and possible recommendations. In Onuoha for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Now on Tuesday, several eminent personalities from Nigerian business visited the family home of the late Herbert Wigwe, former Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings PLC, to condole with the family. News Central's Niyi Omoniyi was there and filed in this report.
Several top figures from Nigeria business space, family, relatives, friends have continued to troop in to the family house of late Herbert Wigwe. And here is where his father resided, which is Pastor Shingo Wigwe. It's been a sad experience and sad ambience here. Recently, we saw the children being moved away from here where their grandparents reside to an unknown location. We spoke with some top figures and they had this to say.
I was in continuous touch with him and he did a lot of financing for my group. We worked very, very closely together. So it's a great loss. He was very supportive to a lot of charitable causes, helping people with their school fees, their education, their welfare. And he really looked forward to being able to actualize his dream of building the Wigwe University, which has started and which, by the grace of God, inshallah, we will see to its conclusion.
We are feeling sad. We are not happy about what has happened, but we have to submit to the will
of the Almighty Lord at times like this. We just pray that the good Lord will grant Herbert, the wife, the son, and my brother Bimbo Gumbanjo, all of them in the ill-fated helicopter crash, that the Almighty Lord will grant them eternal rest.
In the Highbrow estate where the family house is located, not many are available for you to speak with. The cars you see here are cars of dignitaries or visiting people who came to pay their tribute to the late family. And of course, we heard that privately the governor of Lagos State also visited. And before now, we've had the current governor of Ogun State, Dakwa Abiodun Patutomi, who is a chieftain in the Labour Party. And we've had other dignitaries also visit. Now, all these to pay condolence visits to a man who has regenerated and, of course, made great impact in the financial sector. According to what we heard, he acquired Access Bank at a very tender age of 36, where even the CBN thought he was too young.
I think Nigeria has lost a key icon. The financial services industry has lost a solid pillar. And for those of us that he left behind, I would say, may the Lord comfort all of us. May the Lord comfort his parents, his children, his business associates, and everyone that knew him.
If Nigeria were a school, then it has lost one of its greatest teachers. While funeral arrangements are underway, it is believed from the financial sector, friends, families, and relatives that late Herbert Wigwe will be missed. In Lagos for News Central, Niyi Omoniyi.
Now, moving away from that very sad story, the palace of the Asagba of Asaba has officially announced the death of the nonagenarian traditional ruler, Professor Chike Edozien, as his second son, Anthony Onuoha, is now the regent of the Asaba Kingdom. In honor of the monarch, markets, including banks and several public places, were closed. Now, at the brief ceremony to make public the death of the renowned first professor of medicine in Africa at the palace, several traditional rites were observed, including the symbolic breaking of the calabash and 21 cannon shots, followed by a presentation of the regent Anthony Onuoha before the Council of Chief and the people. The departed monarch, who was the 13th Asagba of the Asaba Kingdom, was aged 100 years old.
With heavy hearts, we announce the transition onto eternal glory of our highly revered royal father, Asaba Professor Joseph Chike Edozien, CFR, MD, DSc, FRCP, FRC Pathology, FAS, JP, the Asaba of Asaba Kingdom. He was aged 100 years and the 13th Asaba of Asaba, who ascended the throne as the Asaba of Asaba on 1st July 1991. May his gentle soul rest in the bosom of the Lord. Burial arrangements to be announced by his family and the Asaba Kingdom at a later date.
He is remembered as one of the most distinguished Nigerians of his time. He is remembered as a royal father who is unexampled by the experience he brought to bear on the throne. He is remembered for holding Asaba from a little ancient town to now what is now a very big capital city.
In 4 months' time, he would have been 100 years. He was the oldest professor of medicine in Africa. One of the most educated men we have world over, even in America. He was a first-class, a world citizen. And we are very proud. I'm very proud to have him, to have had him as royal father.
Still in West Africa, the government of the Niger Republic has placed a ban on all flights coming in from or going into neighboring Nigeria. Also, the Republic of Niger announced the opening of its airspace to all national and international commercial flights effective immediately. The new directive specified that commercial flights passing over Nigerian airspace without landing will not be affected by the restrictions. Nevertheless, it is mandatory for all flights operating within Niger's airspace to have their ADS-B and/or radar transponders operational throughout the duration of the flight. Now, in the press statement shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, the government of Niger said that the airspace of the Republic of Niger is open to all national and international commercial flights from ground to unlimited, except for Nigerian flights to or from Nigeria. Now, tensions have escalated in Senegal as authorities crack down on opposition protests while international pressure mounts on President Macky Sall to hold elections for his successor. Senegalese officials blocked a planned opposition march on Tuesday, citing concerns of potential disruptions to public order. The postponement of the February 25th vote has sparked deadly clashes, with 3 fatalities reported in recent protests. Rights groups condemned the authorities' crackdown on dissent, calling for an independent investigation into the deaths and the arrests. As Senegal grapples with political uncertainty and civil unrest, the international community watches closely, urging a swift resolution through constitutional means. Meanwhile, Dakar residents have urged for a swift resolution to the political uncertainty and civil unrest in the country.
ndax suñu xalaat ci manifestation ñu arrangé wuñu ñun dañuy ñaan yàlla toujours dëkk bi di normal ndax loolu la ñu xam ñun suñu situation dëkk mooy jàmm ak salaam ñun xamuñu xuloo xamuñu xeex dañoo am njaboot nekk ci dëkk bi di daan suñu doole fii la ñu juddoo fii lañu yaroo fii lañu màggee fii la ñu jur suñu njaboot mënuñoo daw dem fenn Ndakaaru Njaay gi lañ salatoo ki nekk ci bopp réew mi ñii ut réew mi ñëpp mais lépp nekk ci jàmm ndax ñu bëgg xamuñu ay ñun xamuñu dara loo xam dafa ñaaw ñun lu rafet rek lañu xam ñuy ñaan yàlla na yàlla yëpp sedd guy ndax boo amee njaboot fenn bu sa njaboot jàngiwul liggéeyiwul seen yaay liggéeyiwul fu ñuy jëlee lu ñu lekk amuñu lu ñu lekk amuñu lu ñu naan ndax dëkk bi naqari nag kenn mënu am foo jaar.
Mais le fait de couper les internets pour les réseaux sociaux, c'est pas la solution. C'est pas la solution. Le droit, c'est le droit. Le droit, c'est le droit. Il faut qu'ils maintiennent ce droit-là pour la survie de notre pays, le Sénégal.
Ce que la manifestation a comme impact, c'est que les gens ne peuvent pas se déplacer tranquillement. Les gens ne peuvent pas vaquer à leur occupation. Les commerces aussi sont en arrêt. Toutes les activités de ce pays sont en arrêt à cause de ces manifestations parce que les gens ont peur de sortir. Parce qu'il y a des dangers qui peuvent venir à tout moment. Et ça, pour éviter ça, les gens ont préféré de rester chez eux. Oui, nous attendons les élections avec impatience et nous espérons qu'il y aura un changement. Oui, parce que Macky Sall a fait 12 ans au pouvoir. Ce que nous attendons de Macky Sall, nous ne l'avons pas vu. Et nous voulons vraiment un changement cette année. C'est pourquoi nous voulons...
In a related development, a Senegalese civil society collective has announced that it has applied to the local authorities for permission to march on Saturday, February 16, against the postponement of the presidential election. This comes after an initial request to march on Tuesday, February 13th, was refused by the Senegalese authorities. Eliman Kane, member of the Arsunu Election Collective, in a news conference in Dakar, reiterated that the freedom to demonstrate is a fundamental right, which includes some 40 civil, religious, and professional groups.
A été choisi pour la tenue de la marche. Une nouvelle déclaration de marche a donc été introduite pour le samedi 16 février à partir de 11 h du matin. Nous invitons donc les Sénégalais à manifester sur toute l'étendue du territoire national et la diaspora de se mobiliser ce même jour tous ensemble. a déposé une déclaration de marche pacifique et silencieuse auprès de l'autorité compétente depuis le 8 février 2024, soit 5 jours francs avant la date. Hier soir seulement, c'est vers 22 heures précisément, que la plateforme a reçu la notification d'interdiction sans prétexte que l'itinéraire doit être changé. Nous rappelons que la liberté de manifester constitue un droit fondamental et que la plateforme Aar Sunu Élection ne saurait rester passive face aux atteintes répétées aux droits garantis par la Constitution aux citoyens sénégalais.
All right, now we'll be going back to Bayelsa State, where the governor, Duyediri, and his deputy, Lawrence Erudjakpo, will today take their oath of office, birthing their second term in office for the glory of the lands. Now joining me to give us updates on the inauguration is News Central correspondent Austin Azu. Hello, Austin. How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm very fine.
Yes, thank you so much.
Is very fine. Yenagua is calm and peaceful.
Fantastic. So just go ahead and tell us what the ambience is like in preparation for the inauguration.
Of course, the Samson Siasia 5,000 seats capacity is gradually getting a lot of supporters, special guests across the country. As a matter of fact, you can see from behind me, you can see the stage is being prepared. The stage is being prepared, and very soon the governor, his deputy, and other governors from across the country will arrive this stadium. But from what we have seen so far, various support groups, including political parties, have started arriving, and the program is slated for 12 noon. However, there are still little finishing touches being done on the stage, and other persons are equally making their ways into the stadium. But one thing that is very clear here is that there is a heavy security presence in and outside the stadium. For you to gain access into the stadium, you must pass through various security checkpoints, about a 4-kilometer walk if you are not permitted to drive into the arena. So it means that everywhere is very secured. The police are on ground, the army, they are on ground, DSS and every other security agencies, they are equally on the ground.
All right, so Austin, what about, the residents themselves? What feedback have you gotten from them as regards the inauguration? Are they excited or not?
And from what they are wearing, one can tell that yes, they are indeed excited because they are wearing the color of their of the political party, and in what they are equally putting on, they have the crested picture of the governor and his deputy. So it means that they are very happy to be part of these epoch-making events. Don't forget to wear that the previous swearing-in was held at the government house due to issues that cropped up before a day to the swearing-in. That was a few years ago that Duyediri became governor. But this time around, the inauguration is taking place here at the Samson Siasia Stadium. So it means there was already a full preparation for this event. So the supporters, residents of the state, they are indeed happy because they are saying that they have seen what they voted for, and they are so happy to be part of the celebration. Very unfortunate that where we are standing, we cannot have any of them around us. Would have shown you how they look like. But I can tell you for free that the atmosphere is charged, waiting for the governor and every other person to come in for the official inauguration.
Well, it's a good thing, and most importantly, that the indigents of, Bayelsa are excited. There's actually calm at the fact that they've indeed been given their mandate. But thank you so much, Austin, for joining me, and we'll definitely link up with you later in our subsequent bulletins for more details and updates on the inauguration. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
You're still watching News Central now. Coming up after the break, Kenya police recaptures U.S. murder suspect after days of long manhunt. We'll bring you more on this when we return. Thank you for staying with us. Now we move to Kenya, where the police have recaptured a suspect who escaped from custody and made international headlines. Kevin Kenyate, held in connection with the murder of his girlfriend in the United States, was apprehended after days of long manhunt. Now, Nairobi Police Chief Adamson Bungay confirmed Kenyate's recapture, stating that the suspect was found hiding at a relative's home on the outskirts of Nairobi. Kenyate's escape last week had embarrassed authorities, prompting a widespread search and heightened scrutiny of police procedures. His escape occurred during a meeting with his lawyer, sparking a pursuit by officers which ultimately proved unsuccessful. 4 police officers, 2 relatives, and Kenyate's lawyer were arrested in connection with the escape and remain in custody. Now, in southern Africa, Malawi has confirmed an outbreak of viral conjunctivitis or pink eye in the Karonga district, with 109 cases reported since 1st February. Karonga's Director of Health Services, David Sibale, said the disease was first identified among long-distance travelers from neighboring Tanzania, officials at the Songwe border post, and later within the community. An outbreak of viral conjunctivitis was reported in Tanzania in mid-January. By the end of the month, it had spread to 17 regions in both the mainland and the islands of Zanzibar, with more than 5,000 cases recorded. Kenya, Comoros, Madagascar, and Mayotte have also recorded cases. Now, in other news from around the world, 34 people have been injured after the second floor of a packed Roman Catholic church in Bulacan province, north of Manila, collapsed on Wednesday. Gina Asen, head of the San Jose del Monte City Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office, said the accident occurred this morning as Catholics packed the church to celebrate Ash Wednesday. Asen said no one died from the accident and that 34 people suffered minor bruises and shoulder pain. Colombia's Chief Justice, Gerson Chavera, says a violent protest outside the Supreme Court's headquarters demanding the designation of a new Attorney General is an act of aggression, and that the court is waiting for the safety conditions necessary to hold sessions. The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights has charged or urged the country's top court to choose a new Attorney General amid an ongoing row between President Gustavo Petro and the last holder of the position, whom the leftist leader accused of conspiracy to oust him.
Porque evidentemente fue un hecho de agresión y de violencia contra la Corte Suprema de Justicia y contra los magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia. ¿Por qué fue un acto de agresión y de violencia contra los magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia? Porque la Corte fue sitiada. Las puertas de ingreso y de salida de la Corte Suprema de Justicia fueron bloqueadas. Y eso es un acto de agresión, en tanto representó una afectación a la libre movilidad de los magistrados, de los empleados que se encontraban para ese día dentro de la corporación. No, la Corte lo que espera es que se den las condiciones, como lo dijimos en nuestro comunicado, para que nosotros podamos adelantar nuestra sesión de manera tranquila, de manera pacífica, de manera armónica, bajo unas condiciones que nos permitan en un estado de tranquilidad adelantar nuestro trabajo y el ejercicio de nuestras competencias electorales.
And now in the world of sports, Super Eagles vice captain William Troost Ekong is reportedly linked with a move to Saudi Arabia in the summer transfer window. The centre-back piles his trade for Greek side PAOK and put on impressive performances at the just concluded 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, his contributions helped Nigeria advance to the final of the competition, where they suffered a late 2-1 defeat to host Ivory Coast. Scoring 3 goals and marshalling the best defense in the competition, the 30-year-old was voted AFCON's best player of the tournament as he played every minute for Nigeria. Transfer experts say his performances have caught the eye of several clubs in the Saudi Pro League, and a deal could be done this summer. His current deal at PAOK FC runs until June of 2026, and the Greek Super League leaders could listen to offers for the defender. Troost Ekong has represented multiple European sides throughout his career, including Watford, Salernitana, Udinese, and Bursaspor. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We told you that Nigeria's Senate have passed vote of confidence in service chiefs. We also told you that shops and goods have been destroyed in Lagos community gas explosion. And finally, you heard that Senegal's authorities have banned opposition protests. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.